All right, let's talk about the car that broke the hearts of pretty much every AMG fan on the planet, the W205 C63. Now, this thing had the impossible job of following up an absolute legend. And while it looked amazing on paper, the reality of owning one? Well, it's a little more complicated than you might think.
And yeah, that quote right there, it just nails it. You see, the car before this, the W204, was a legend. It had that monstrous, hand-built, naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8, the M156. I mean, it sounded like the gods themselves were screaming at you from Redline. It was raw, it was special, it was the last of its kind. And then, for 2015, AMG said, hey, we're replacing it with a smaller twin-turbo V8. And yeah, you could pretty much hear the collective weeping of car enthusiasts everywhere.
But here's the crazy part. On paper, the new car was a beast. It was faster, it was more efficient, it was technically better in pretty much every single measurable way. So let's dive into why this car is so tempting, but also just so deeply flawed. So, at the heart of this thing is the M177 engine. The big deal here is the hot V design. Now, what does that even mean? Well, basically, they stuffed the turbochargers inside the V of the engine. This makes the path for the exhaust gas super short, which means the turbos spool up almost instantly. No lag, just pure power. It's a brilliant piece of engineering from Affalterbach. And yes, it still has that awesome one-man, one-engine plaque signed by the technician who built it. In a lab, this engine is just a masterpiece. And it came in two flavors. You had the standard C63 with a very healthy 469 horsepower. But come on, the one you really want, the one everyone was after, was the C63 S. This beast smashed right through the 500 horsepower barrier with 503 horses. At the time, this thing was a monster, leaving rivals like the Audi RS5 in the dust and giving the BMW M3 a serious run for its money. And you could get all that power in 4 different body styles. You had your practical sedan and wagon, which ran up to 2021, but the super sleek coupe and the cabriolet, they kept those going all the way to 2023. And listen, this part is really important. That makes the W205 Coupe the very last V8-powered C63 ever. Like, forever. So yeah, guaranteed future classic right there.
Okay, if you're even thinking about shopping for one of these, you need to pay attention to this slide. The 2018 facelift is the big dividing line. The early cars have a 7-speed transmission that is just notorious for developing a shudder that is crazy expensive to fix. The later cars, though, they got a much better 9-speed MCT. Plus, they got that killer Panamericana grille and updated tech inside. So yeah, if you're looking, the post-facelift cars are absolutely the only ones to consider.
And this, my friends, is where the story of on-paper brilliance takes a very dark turn. Remember that clever hot V engine design we just talked about? Well, it has a catastrophic side effect. It generates an absolutely insane amount of heat right in the middle of the engine bay. And that heat, it's the root cause of almost every single major problem with this car.
I'm not kidding. Just picture it. You have 2 glowing red-hot turbochargers sitting right on top of the engine, trapped under the hood with basically nowhere for all that heat to escape. It just sits there and bakes everything. All the plastic, all the rubber, all the electronics, they just get cooked. This is the car's tragic flaw. It's literally being cooked to death by its own brilliant heart.
And here's where your wallet starts to cry. The first things to go are usually the coolant pipes that are buried deep inside that hot engine valley. The heat makes them brittle, they crack, and you've got a leak. And because they're an absolute nightmare to get to, you're looking at a bill for around $2,500 just to fix it.
But wait, there's more. It doesn't stop there. The rubber valve cover gaskets, they can't take the heat either. They get hard, they shrink, and they start leaking oil all over your hot engine. Fun, right? Well, that's another $3,000 to replace the pair. You see where this is going? The bills just start to pile up.
And here it is, the big one, the headline failure for this car, the motor mounts. We're talking about the rubber bits that physically hold that massive V8 inside the car. The heat just destroys them. They collapse, and then you get these awful vibrations through the entire car. It's a huge, labor-intensive job to fix, and some shops will quote you up to $6,000. Which brings us to this perfectly absurd but totally accurate quote. They put all that brilliant German engineering into making this incredible engine and then completely overlooked the simple rubber bits that are supposed to hold it in place. It's such a basic, fundamental oversight, and it's an incredibly expensive one for the owners.
Oh, you thought we were done? Not even close. Those heat issues? That's just the opening act. Owning one of these out of warranty feels like a death by 1,000 cuts. It's a whole symphony of other expensive failures just waiting to happen.
I mean, just look at this list. We call it the ownership tax. That 7-speed transmission shudder? Yeah, that can be a $7,000 fix. The high-pressure fuel pump goes out. Because it's a direct injection engine, you need to get the carbon blasted off the valves every so often for another $2,500. Even a simple spark plug change can cost $1,000 because the engine bay is so ridiculously packed. And the problems aren't even all mechanical. Owners are constantly complaining about the wireless CarPlay disconnecting or the Burmester sound system amp just dying. Oh, and my favorite? After 5 years, the COMAND infotainment system might suddenly decide you need to pay a subscription to keep using it. It's just a lot.
Okay, to be fair, it's not all doom and gloom. The engine itself, the metal bits, it's actually really tough if you service it religiously. The chassis is absolutely brilliant, it handles beautifully. The interiors on the later models are gorgeous, just really luxurious places to be. And here's the siren song, the thing that tempts everyone. Massive depreciation. You see them for sale and think, wow, that's a ton of car for the money.
So that brings us to the big question. After all that, the incredible performance and the terrifying repair bills, is the W205 C63 a buy or is it a buy?
And the answer really comes down to this one idea, the depreciation trap. This is where you get caught. You see a 503 horsepower AMG for the price of a brand new Toyota Camry, and your brain just screams, do it. But here's the reality. You're not buying a $40,000 car. You're buying a $100,000 car that has $100,000 repair bills. That is a trap that has bankrupted a lot of unprepared second owners.
So, is there any way this makes sense? Maybe, but it's a very, very specific situation. Here's the playbook. Step 1. You only look at post-2018 facelift C63 S models. Period. Step 2. It absolutely must have a perfect, complete, documented service history from a Mercedes dealer. No exceptions. And step 3, and this is the big one, this is non-negotiable. You need to have a $15,000 repair fund in cash, ready to go, on top of what you pay for the car.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. You find one of those tempting pre-facelift 2017 models for, say, $35,000. Seems like the deal of a lifetime, right? But what happens when 2 months later, you get hit with a bill for motor mounts, a major transmission service, and a full brake job? That $35,000 bargain just cost you another $15,000. So I'll ask you, is it still a bargain then?
And that's why, for the vast majority of you watching this, our final verdict has to be crystal clear. As tempting as it is, as amazing as it can be when it's actually working, the W205 C63 is a certified buy. It's a beautiful, tragic hero of a car, but its ownership costs are just too high and too frequent for us to ever recommend.